Well, welcome. Glad to see everybody here. We're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to the University of Kansas Student Employee of the Year Awards ceremony. My name is Ann Hartley. I'm an Associate Director at the University Career Center. I'm pleased that you were able to join us at today's 4th annual event. At KU, we have about 4,800 student employees on campus, working in a wide range of jobs in almost every department. Our campus simply couldn't run without our student employees, and we are pleased to recognize a select group of you today. When we started this program in 2012, I wanted to learn more about the history of student employment at KU. I searched through records at the Spencer Library to see what I could find. I uncovered some interesting information, mostly from the 1930s, during the Depression era. In 1934, KU had a student population of 4,000, and 4 years of college cost about $1,500. It was a whole other time. About 45% of students worked through school, and students earned on average $15 a month, or about 30 cents an hour. This rate just about covered room and board. Today, undergraduate students nationally who work while enrolled in college is about 78%. So a lot of our students work to get through school. In 1935, the university received a memo from the Kansas Emergency Relief Committee which stated that students could be employed on emergency projects. This was the Dust Bowl era, and dust had settled into libraries and other college and university equipment, creating an emergency for cleaning and renovating. Student workers could be used for fire, pestilence, flood, tornado, blizzard, windstorm, as well as dust storm emergencies. I think that covers just about everything we have in Kansas. In another source, the University of Kansas: A History by Clifford Griffin, he noted that during the Depression era, the real need was just for more jobs. Students desperately needed to work. Some students were ingenious in finding them. One taught contract bridge to Lawrence Society women at 50 cents a lesson. Another worked as night chief of police. And a third prowled the heating pipe tunnels to collect cockroaches, which he sold to an entomologist in another institution for 2 cents apiece. So it is amazing what students will do to earn money to stay in school. As you know, having a student job can make all the difference for a student to be able to stay in college and finish a degree. As we often tell students at the Career Center, it's also a very important way that students build skills and experience that they will take with them after graduation into their career. Let me tell you a little bit more about the Student Employee of the Year recognition program. Each year, colleges and universities across the country recognize the importance of the student work experience during National Student Employment Week. This week occurs annually during the second week of April, and the purpose is to draw attention to the contributions student workers make in the many roles they fill. You may have noticed the banner on Jayhawk Walk this week, as well as some free food and giveaways that we passed out on campus yesterday in appreciation of our student employees. Back in 2011, we formed a committee to implement a recognition program for outstanding student employees. Many departments on campus already recognize their student employees internally in their departments, but this new award was something that is a campus-wide recognition program, and we're now in our 4th year. The committee met regularly this past year to refine the nomination process and plan the award ceremony today. A campus-wide email was sent to encourage supervisors to nominate their student employees through an online nomination form. Nominations were solicited beginning last fall and continuing through January. We also solicited volunteers to help review the nominations. In February, volunteers read all the nominations. We received 38 nominations, and each one was read and scored by 3 different people. The scores were combined and totaled to select 5 finalists, one of which will be named the campus winner this afternoon. As part of this recognition, our campus winner was entered into the regional competition of the Midwest Association of Student Employment Administrators. The Midwest Regional Association selects one winner from each state in our region. And there are 4 regions in the United States, each with about 12 or 13 states. Each state winner is then considered for the regional selection, and regional winners are sent on to the National Student Employment Association to compete for the National Student Employee of the Year. The National Association has been recognizing an outstanding student employee since 1995. I'm pleased that KU is now competing in this recognition program. And at this time, I'd like to introduce Provost Jeffrey Vitter, who will share a few comments with you.
Good afternoon and welcome to today's ceremony. I have to say, award ceremonies are probably the most fun thing to do. They're a bit higher than faculty complaining about whatever the situation is, or budget meetings. And I especially like all of the red carpet and the paparazzi, and I'm wearing Versace today, by the way, in honor of this ceremony. Today's event is especially important because a great university relies upon great students. And as provost, I oversee not only KU's academic programs and research, but also all of the operations around the university. And you know, in some ways, KU is really a city within a city. We have our own buildings, we have our own food services, we have all of our utilities, housing, we have libraries, we even have our own elected officials. And if all things go well this year, we'll have a new slate of student leaders to announce at the end of the week. And whether it's academics, research, or operations, student employees are truly vital to the success of the university. In my office, students are the first people that you will see and you interact with when you come into the building, so they play an important role for us. And certainly instructors rely on students in crucial ways as teaching assistants and people that make their courses run smoothly. In fact, I don't think there's any aspect across campus where students don't play an important role. Now, student jobs are a great way for students to build skills, maturity, independence, and that kind of experience that will take them beyond graduation in whatever career they choose. And of course, you also get paid. That's an added benefit as well. Although I like that idea of, was it 30 cents an hour? No, we're not going to go back to those old days. The course redesign task force actually recommends more use of TAs, both undergrad and grad TAs. And that's an important thing we're looking at. Now, student employees have learned how to balance their class time, their work time, and their study time. In fact, KU fulfills its mission by finding a balance among educating leaders, building healthy communities, and making discoveries that change the world. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that our student employees embody that mission, because they have to find that same balance in their own individual lives as they contribute in a variety of ways to the university. So on behalf of the University of Kansas, from our deans, from our department chairs, from our instructors, and all this dedicated staff at the university, I want to congratulate you all and give you my best wishes on this great ceremony today. So thank you for coming.
Next, for a student perspective, we're going to have some comments from our student body president, Morgan Saeed.
Good afternoon, and thank you for including me in this afternoon's celebration. Last time I spoke up here, Provost Vitter took my notes with him when he left the podium, and I was standing up here like deer in headlights. I had nothing to say. So I have mine with me this time, so I'm good. But I'm glad we're taking the time today to acknowledge the do-it-all student, the student who makes balancing work, school, family, and friends and social life looks so easy and effortless. The truth is, it is difficult to manage all these facets of life, yet the students sitting here today have mastered this juggling act. I have sat through many meetings this year with administration where a great idea has been pitched, and I've said, that idea is so great, I wish I would have thought of that first. And the administrator will look slyly at me and say, yeah, me too. And then they say, one of the students in my office thought of it first, actually. And that's not to say that the administrators don't have good ideas, but it's to say that students typically have better ideas. I'm just kidding, sort of. On a more serious note, student workers are integral to the success of our campus community. I am proud to be considered a colleague more than just a student employee here at KU. My voice is heard at the table, and my opinions carry weight in discussion. I hope that all of you student employees feel the same way. I believe that this reason, and so many more, is why KU is a great place to be and a great place to work. Congratulations again to all of the award recipients and nominees, and thank you to your service to Jayhawk Nation.
I made sure Dr. Bitter did not take my notes. Okay, we will now recognize all 38 of our nominees and ask that they come up on the stage to receive their certificate and the Jayhawk pin. So if you come up these stairs, get your certificate, shake Dr. Bitter's hand, and come down this way. Please hold your applause until all the students have been recognized. Firuz Akuberov. Sarah Anderson. Kelly Bacon. And I want to apologize in advance if I mispronounce your name. Can I get you to stay on stage? I forgot to say that. We're going to take a group picture, so everybody stay here on stage. Michaela Bushell. Madeline Ballou. Brittany Beck. Elise Bensel. Monique Brigham. Christina Brown. Marilyn Chavez. Caleb Chin. Kelsey Consoliver. Emma Davison. Caitlin Fitzgerald. Bailey Hartman is not attending. Amanda Hemmingson. George Johnson. Tiffany Can. Megan Kittredge. Alexander Kuhn. That's a picture, so yeah, we're going to have to create 2 lines. Megan Lowndes. Brianna McCarthy. Elizabeth Melton. Skylar Moore. Brenda Morales. Hannah Morrow. Laura Musia. And I know I pronounced that wrong, I'm sorry. Mercia. Gabrielle Murnham will not be with us today. Oh, okay, come on up. I had you as not attending. Sorry, no, that was wrong. I had that on the wrong line. Alicia Nelson is not attending today. Emily Ott. Paul Pierce II. Joanna Ramirez. Olivia Rankin. Jake Rowe, Burke Slocum, Nathan Smith, Ryan Steele, Daly Tasker, who is not attending. Let's give a big round of applause for all of our outstanding so you're away from the podium. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Actually, you know the next We are now going to recognize each of our 5 finalists. Please come to the stage as I call your name in no particular order. The supervisors of these students would each like to say a few words about the students they nominated. Elise Bensel was nominated by Megan Kaminsky in English. Did you want to say a few words?
My name is Megan Kaminsky. I am assistant professor of English and also director of the Graduate Creative Writing Program. I can't say enough about all of the good work that Elise has done in her capacity as my assistant this year. Her work has been essential to the day-to-day running of the Graduate Creative Writing Program, which is composed of 34 MFA and PhD candidates and 7 faculty members. She maintains our program's social media presence and website, assists with visiting writers and program events, keeps records, and maintains a calendar of creative writing events. These activities alone, and the exceptional way in which she performed them, would make Elise a worthy nominee for this award. However, Elise's contributions extend far beyond what might be expected of the assistant to the creative writing director. Our program is very much a program in transition. We're increasing in size, moving from being a regional program to a nationally recognized one, and gaining prestige. With all of these wonderful changes, there's a lot of work to be done. Elise's work as my assistant has been essential to my success as director and to the success of the program. Her professionalism and maturity made it possible for me to assign her tasks that might normally be relegated to professional staff. This year alone, she has completely reworked and updated our existing website, planned receptions for visiting writers, created a database to track student progress through the program, and to track advising duties. Moreover, she always comports herself in a way that represents our program in the best possible light. Elise's contributions have freed up time and energy to transition our program to be on par with our aspirational peers. I'm so grateful for her hard work and dedication, and so happy to help honor her today.
Amanda Hemmingson was nominated by Katie Elliott in the Writing Center.
My name is Katie Elliott. I'm the Associate Director of the KU Writing Center, and I'm introducing Amanda here today. Amanda has worked in the Writing Center at KU for the past 4 years, I believe. That spans her undergraduate and graduate degrees at KU, and is twice as long as I've been at KU, as a matter of fact. I've only been here for almost 2. And I wanted to tell you a little bit about what her work does and what she's contributed to KU. Writing Center consultants like Amanda, and Elise was also once one of our consultants, are taking over the university really slowly. They work one-on-one with KU students, faculty, and staff on all kinds of different writing projects. But they're not really just working on writing. What they're doing is working with writers. They're directly impacting the growth of KU students in all different kinds of disciplines, all different areas. And I'd say that they directly impact the success and indeed the retention rates, perhaps, of KU students. I don't think it would be overstating it to say that Amanda has had a direct impact on the success of KU as a university. And I realize it's really hard to quantify the impact, but I tried to pull up some numbers to find out. In her time at the Writing Center, Amanda has worked individually with more than 700 students. Add to that the, I don't even know how many, many workshops that Amanda has led. And I would say a conservative estimate is that she's contributed directly and personally to the success of around 2,500 students, maybe more. I think that's pretty impressive, just so you know. All that's as a writing consultant. This past semester, Amanda has stepped up to be our administrative intern, learning to run a learning support unit like the Writing Center. We had one of our 3 professional staffs out on maternity leave this year. Amanda took on many of her responsibilities, not only carrying them out, but improving the systems and structures that we use to carry those out. It's been many months since those of us in the Writing Center thought of Amanda as an employee. She's long since become a full-on colleague and one that we are so happy to work with, a valuable colleague. Our Writing Center director is not able to be here today, but she sent a message that she, quote, cannot imagine the Writing Center without Amanda. And we are so sad that since she's graduating in May, we're going to have to figure out how to do that. Thank you for everything.
Our next finalist is Jake Rowe, who is nominated by Judy Harris in the Molecular Biosciences.
So it is clear that the young man that was hired to collect the cockroaches did not do his job well. Thank you, Jake, for doing a better job. In May 2012, I conducted interviews for a student position in the bio store. At that time, Jake was an incoming freshman. Jake applied for a job to support himself during college, even before he started school. This speaks volumes about Jake and the work ethic his family has instilled upon him. I interviewed over 12 applicants, but one person in particular stood out. That kid, or young man, is Jake Rowe, Student Employee of the Year finalist. When I asked Jake in the interview, why would I hire you instead of someone else? He answered, because I am a hard worker, and I can get the job done. No other words spoken have been so true. I've had the pleasure of working with Jake for 3 years. If you are fortunate enough to know Jake, you will immediately see what I saw the first day that I met him. The first thing you will notice is his contagious smile. When you work with him, you see his dedication and his attention to detail. In the bio store, we check in, stock, and sell over $400,000 worth of merchandise each year. We are responsible for receiving over 7,000 packages each year and shipping out over 1,000 packages each year. So attention to detail is extremely important. A few of Jake's responsibilities include making sure delicate, time-sensitive research material is properly stored and handled. Items are stocked and readily available for labs, and shipping international and domestic packages. At any given time, Jake accurately delivers packages to the labs, moves freight from the dock to the labs, or even mops the floors. When necessary, Jake is able to run the BioStore by himself, and I can always count on him to get the job done right. He not only works during the school year, but also during the summer and breaks. Not only do I depend on Jake, but labs and researchers depend on him as well. When I was nominating Jake for Student Employee of the Year, I reached out to people that interact with Jake on a regular basis, and this is what some of them had to say. From Dr. Audrey Lamb Labs, Jake Rowe always has a great attitude and is willing to help. Jake is reliable and is able to answer any questions or help with any problems. He goes above and beyond to give great customer service. Dr. Stuart McDonald, Associate Professor in Molecular Biosciences and Director of the Bioinformatics Lab, had to say, I have worked with a number of students at KU, both in my lab and in the BioStore. Jake Rowe is at the top in terms of dependability, helpfulness, and professionalism. His job in the BioStore involves working with an array of faculty, staff, and students, and despite his workload, he is extremely efficient and willing to help in any way that he can. A lab tech, Cyril Cook, from Dr. Slusky's lab, said, I have had the pleasure of working with Jake for a semester. His professionalism and focus have kept me from realizing he is a student employee. Jake is always well organized, thoughtful, and ready to assist with any request without hesitation. His work supports and enables our entire lab. Jeannie Houtz, who is Administrative Assistant to Dr. Tom Taylor, Distinguished Professor of Ecology and Evolutionary Biology and Senior Curator at the Biodiversity Institute, said, I want to share with you how much the Taylor Lab appreciates Jake Rowe. We appreciate his professionalism and kind and even attitude when meeting the lab's needs. Jeannie goes on to cite an example of how Jake's attention to detail led him to correct a shipping address. If Jake had not caught this mistake, precious, irreplaceable research samples may have been lost in shipping. Through other supporting documentation I received for Jake's nomination, I heard statements like, Jake's work in the BioStore consistently exceeds our expectations. Jake helps our lab with many daily activities, such as obtaining items from the BioStore, shipping and receiving packages, and submitting sequencing examples. His refreshing and calm character is very calming to our hectic workday. Jake takes the initiative to train and mentor other students, which is a sign of a true leader. Jake is an exceptional young man with a bright future ahead of him. Working with a student like Jake makes me proud to be a Jayhawk. When I asked Jake why he chose KU, he said there was no other. Anita, Jake's mom, who is here today, confirmed he was born with a beak, and his first words were, rock chalk.
Gabriel Murnham, who was nominated by Tim Capone from the Office of Public Affairs.
Well, hi, my name is Joe Monaco. Tim Camoni couldn't be here. He's in Washington, presumably getting into a lot of trouble, which is what he does when we let him leave campus. But it is my pleasure to represent Tim in the Office of Public Affairs to say a few words about Gabby. Gabby is a student employee in our Office of Public Affairs, which manages all communications, public policy, state and federal relations, and local engagement for the university. And in her role, Gabby creates fact sheets for legislators and other stakeholders, represents our office on university committees, and serves as a special project liaison with various groups. And to fully appreciate Gabby's role in our office, you have to understand something about the office, and that's that the office resembles an air traffic control tower. It's a lot of very public, very deadline-driven, high-stakes type work, and I think it's the type of work that for a lot of students, a lot of student employees, it would be a tough challenge. And it's in that context that Gabby not only has met our expectations, but exceeded them and just become really just an invaluable member of our team. Without exaggeration, there's yet to be an assignment that we've given to Gabby in which she hasn't done a terrific job. She always meets deadlines despite taking a full course load and being involved in an absolutely absurd number of extracurricular activities. Always available, whether it's on weekends for commencement or in the evenings to staff committee meetings. Perhaps the best commentary on her reliability is that we trust her to represent our office routinely by herself on various committees and in stakeholder groups. And in fact, the hilarious part about that is 9 out of 10 times people don't realize she's a student employee. They think she's one of our full-time staffers. As I said, her work has been tremendous. She's a tremendous writer, a very strategic thinker. She is a columnist for the University Daily Kansan. Some of you may have seen her columns, and has actually used that experience to bring more of a feature writing style to a lot of the writing that we do in our office. She's done fact sheets, white papers, and reports that we've used in conversations with legislators and with the Kansas Board of Regents. Some really high stakes type stuff. I think the best example of her work is Gabby was the university liaison for the 2014 Free State Festival, which some of you probably attended or participated in Lawrence last year. I think my favorite part about that, Gabby's working on that again for us this year, and recently walked back into the office and said she had secured $20,000 in funding, apparently from the Provost's office. And so, Mr. Provost, if you're doing your budget and appear to be 20 grand in the hole, it's her fault. So again, just a tremendous asset. We're lucky to have her. We hope, I selfishly hope she finds a way to stay around for 5 years so we can keep her in the office one more year. She's a shining example, frankly, that any organization, any employee would do well to emulate. So we're very pleased to be here on her behalf.
And our final finalist is Sarah Anderson, who is nominated by Teresa Prudence in the International Programs.
Hi, I'm not Teresa. Teresa asked me to introduce Sarah, and it's my pride and privilege to do that to all of you today. I actually brought speaking notes, so that's good, right? I thought I'd take you a little bit through a day of a student worker at International Programs. So, in a single day, a student worker could welcome international visitors, interact with KU faculty, help international students, do graphic design work, answer questions about obtaining a passport, supporting the front desk, tabling, presenting about the Global Awareness Program, and much smaller tasks like, answering the phone, making photocopies, and of course data entry. So, on top of all of that, I guess Sarah has contributed so much to our office, and she takes on so many other duties as assigned responsibilities. Recently, Sarah is helping our international scholar and researcher population at KU. She is helping them adjust to campus and creating their appointments at KU. So this consists of things like KU email address, signing up for things like health insurance, on a pretty regular basis. And in fact, we just had a presentation today where she was talking about, KU athletics, how to get a driver's license, any little thing that, a new visitor coming to the United States might need. Sarah is now an expert in those areas and helping those people. And on top of that, last semester, we decided to start doing programming for our international scholars. And I just asked her, Sarah, I'd like you to create an event where scholars can go off campus somewhere. And a week later, we had an event planned to go to the Tallgrass National Park. Reservations were made at a local restaurant. Bus was reserved, and all I had to do was just pay for it and chaperone the event. So it was fantastic. And to quote another advisor about Sarah, when talking with Sarah, it is easy to see how her international experiences and cultural competence influence her positive attitude. She is very eager to talk to people about their experiences and learn from them. This outlook of listening and learning from anyone with any walk of life completely exceeds my expectations of students her age.
I would like to take a moment to thank all the supervisors who nominated their student employees, outstanding student employees. We know that all student employees give their all to the university and to us, and we couldn't get by without them and their hard work. We really appreciate you all. Okay, for the drum roll. And our winner of the KU Student of the Year is Jake Rowe. Stand right over here in front of me. Okay, he gets a plaque. And here's the certificate. And you get a check. Congratulations.
Okay, that brings us to the close of our program. Again, congratulations to each of our student nominees, the finalists, and our winner. You all make KU a very special place to work, and we thank you. In closing, I want to recognize the Student Employee of the Year committee members listed on the back of your program. Each one of them contributed their ideas, time, and energy to make this event possible. I also want to recognize the volunteers who shared their time and energy to review and score the student nominees. They are also listed on the back of your program, and some of them have joined us today at the ceremony. And finally, this program would not be possible without our sponsors, and many thanks to them for their contributions, again, also listed on our program. So without our sponsors, we would not be able to pull together all the resources to do this program. Please join me in a warm round of applause for the committee members, volunteers, and sponsors. Thank you. This concludes our recognition program today. Please stay and join us at the reception in the north end of the ballroom for refreshments. We have a few special surprises this year. We're expecting the Jayhawk mascot will be joining us fairly soon. So you want to stay and take pictures. You also want to stay a few minutes because we had some wonderful people in the community donate some door prizes, and we have about 6 door prizes to give away. So we're going to continue with that immediately after the ceremony here. So stay a few minutes and we're going to draw names out of a hat and give away some door prizes. So please stay and enjoy the festivities. Thank you.